Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and today we have got a brand new reaction to Knock2's No Limit album. We've got a big video ahead of us because this was indeed the video that was voted on by the Bowtied gang. If you want to say in what videos get produced each week, one video per week, you can join channel membership today to be part of the voting process. But other than that, Knock2, a pretty famed artist at this point, pretty beloved artist that has kind of produced this primarily up to this point bass house kind of hybrid trap fusion of sound with ISO XO. And this is now Knock2's debut solo album. He's kind of had an album with Nighthearts before, but this is kind of debut solo project, No Limit. I'm excited to get into this. I think this is the first time we've actually done a full video on Knock2 on this channel, which I'm excited for. I love this kind of style of bass house music, and I think he just took over 2024. So, yeah, let's hop into it. Here we go. This is the first track of a 17-song, 55.5-minute album, No Limit. But let's start off with Rookie.
When you hear this music, it don't even matter. All the other noise don't hit. Like No Limit music.
Okay. I like that sentiment to start.
Turn this Knock2 up.
Okay. Very muted lead. Classic Knock2 sound design here.
Told you yet, don't make me pull up. Don't make me pull up. I told you yet, don't make me pull up. I told you yet.
Hey, a very like typical Knock2 start, I think, is not a bad way at all. Like, this is just kind of just an establishing where we're going, what the sound is like, and where we've been, I guess. So I love that muted bass line so much. Where we're going, round two.
I told you yet, don't make me pull up.
Okay, playing a little safe. Okay, this is fun. Okay. Rookie, the first track of No Limit. That very much feels like where I expected to be at this point in the track list after the first song. This is very much like a classic sounding Knock2 just track that does a great job as an album opener of establishing the tone, establishing where we're going, kind of just get these just the vocal styles of, or just samples of even like just talking of like, this is a No Limit style and get your hands up, and like this is kind of peak Knock2 at this point, and I'm enjoying that. I think the song again is a little bit more on the like that was like a taste of what is to come. I don't think that's going to be the strongest track of the album. I think by far would be my guess, and I think it's for a very intentional purpose. So yeah, that's still a fun one. Like I still really enjoy that one quite a bit, and I think it's brilliant opener, I'll say for sure. So okay, let's move into the next track. Crank the bass, play the music. Let's do it.
Crank the bass, play the music. Bitch, you better lose it. Bitch, you better.
Ooh, I like this a lot. Okay, there's a lot going on in the background that I'm loving. There's a small, intricate like sound design details that I'm really loving, and I love the digital sounds. Like, I just love that very like classic, almost early 2000s, 90s kind of synth hit. Question is always, where do we go on round 2? Wait, what? I definitely thought that was going like hard style for a second.
That is the ball of energy right there. Remember the name. You guys came strong, and Knock2 is in the house.
That's a fun little vocal sample to have, or a little just audio snippet of clearly, I think, Knock2's first show. That song's great. I love that. That's super fun. I love the turn at the end. The just very intentionally just earth-shattering / attention diverging / expectation breaking second drop, or even second fake out, or second even into a third extended fake out. Like, it's just that was fun. These songs, again, it's different in context listening to these. I don't know if I get, but in listening to those in the context of like this setting is different than obviously being at like a Knock2 show. I still really appreciate it though, and I can see myself in a room full of people just jump into this. It's like even enhances it even more. And so the fact that I'm just enjoying this so much already off the bat, in this context alone, in a studio dungeon space, this album, I think it's gonna be something special moving forward. So I love that song, and let's keep things moving. This is technically the, I believe, release single of the album, Shake the City with Nalaya, I want to say. So this is presumably one of the better ones, because this is the release single. Like, this is the one that they're like, this is, if you're gonna listen to something when the new album comes out, this is it. So here we go. This is Shake the City.
I wanna feel the ground shake when the bass go boom till the clouds break. Turn the music up now. I want it. I want it now.
Okay, a very subdued, minimalistic first part.
Don't bring problems to my party. Don't mess up my energy. I've been riding on this wave, and now I never wanna leave. I got 10 girls with me. We might shake the city. We your hand like the sky is falling.
What is that? Bass line. It's like so nasty. It's both the lead and it's not. Oh, that's fun. I was actually listening to I Wanna Rock recently, where that sample comes from. Damn. Okay, man, Shake the City. It just gives and gives and gives this record at this point. Man, that was a fun song. It was, like I said off the top, it was a more minimalistic, more subdued style that still kept the energy constant. It didn't have the big kind of highs and lower lows of like kind of like the song prior, Crank the Bass, but it kept it pretty linear. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like it stayed pretty steady and constant and even heady a little bit. That was really fun. I'm realizing just now, maybe not just now, but I was listening to actually a lot of old Fatboy Slim recently. And for those of you that don't know, Fatboy Slim kind of did this like big beat sound from the, like, I want to say late or mid 90s and then early 2000s. That was like your kind of iconic early stages of like real big popular dance music. That was like very specifically like EDM bass focused and or stuff that was a little bit more beat heavy, and oftentimes it's now categorized as big beat is the genre. I think this might actually be just modern Fatboy Slim. And obviously we're using a bit of the vocal samples of I Wanna Rock and stuff, and I guess I was also using Black Eyed Peas stuff, but regardless, we're using a lot of the same things. This is just like a modern kind of big beat kind of album that's meant to get you up and moving and dancing. And it felt honestly ahead of its time, maybe even back then. And so, maybe that's just that song that feels like that to me a little bit. But I'm curious to see as we move forward. So. But here we go. This is, speaking of forward, this is, I think it's Fuck With Me, Dirty is probably what the name of this title is. But here we go. This is FW Me, Dirty.
Hands are moving left to right, not too heavy. Bitch, make it clap.
Very curious to see where this is going to go because we started so, like, minimal. Like 2015 bass house. Oh. That brr kind of sounds like Sullivan King's The Beginning. That like just really, I don't even know what you call it, distorted synth, just like crushed melody. Bringing things down a little bit. I'm on board. I love when he goes like that. 808. Now, do we go deeper or do we go higher is the question. Deeper. Oh. We're also doing a bit of a staircase. I love that. Oh. I love that sound. Oh, man. Okay. Fucking With Me, Dirty. Yo, that song was dirty. That song was straight up dirty. That was the most, I think, so far of all the songs we've heard, like the most unique, I would say, of the bunch. That felt a little bit more like, I would say 2015 bass house, not so much the modern quintessential bass house sound that Knock2 has sort of not necessarily pioneered, but led at least this modern movement, and a little bit bit more of the like kind of I wouldn't say early days of bass house, but just like kind of the more middle ground, the middle modern era of kind of bass house music with a more standardized kind of higher, just a more metallic sounding, just like a higher pitched up hit for your melody, as opposed to the more kick heavy stuff of the modern bass house sound. that being said, I really did like it. Like, I almost think that's one of my favorite songs of the record so far, just because of it's a bit of a both a throwback to a somewhat simpler time in bass house genre and the bass house genre holistically, but also just the dirtiest track. And I love that, like, I don't even know how to, like, I can't even properly do it with my voice, but it just it's fun. I'm loving this record so far, and so I want to keep things moving. So here we go. This is gonna be Dance or Dead, the 5th track. Here we go. I don't know how I feel about this, but I do love it. Yo, this song's wild. You're gonna do that and then go to just the simple claps. Oh! Wow. What is this song? We're gonna slow down. Wild. Holy crap. Okay, yeah, that is that's straight up my favorite song of the album so far. Oh my goodness. That song was also just a perfect track for all of the ISO Knock fans. The specifically people that maybe come to a Knock2 album expecting a sound that is a little bit more equal parts trap and bass house, because that's what the ISO Knock sound is. Not necessarily for those that maybe don't know, but I'm sure most people do know that ISO Knock or ISO XO is the main like trap side of that sound, and Knock2 is the more bass house side of that sound. And so that was like a perfect middle ground track, but also a perfect switch up. Just even in the track list holistically, we've just had like really just destructive big bass lines with these big anthemic, more huge movements, to go from that to like a bit of a slowdown into just like a hi-hat heavy, like just heavy on the triplets, just trap, just kind of just like as trappy as trap kind of gets. And I think the vocals from whoever that was, Millie, worked really well on both ends of the spectrum of that heavy bass house, more minimalistic beginning bass house, and then into the more kind of standardized trap sound. So my goodness, that was fun. That was great. Okay, that was great. Let's keep things moving. This is Party/Dance Alone, which is, I guess, what I'm kind of doing right now. So let's do it.
I know what you need. I've seen you here before. Show me how your body moves like we're more than more. And I just wanna dance alone.
Okay, still with that ISO Knock sound. Wow. Okay. First time we're getting this like very kind of bright, ethereal kind of piano chords. At least as prevalent. Oh, I love these. Oh, that was a kick. Oh, that was it? Just the one?
And I just wanna dance alone.
Booyah!
And I just wanna dance alone.
Booyah! Booyah!
And I just wanna dance alone.
Wow. Okay, that was Party, and I will say that one felt a little bit more on the typical side of things. I was a little bit more not as explosive, at least in my opinion, not as strong of a track, which is I still think it's a great one, but not as domineering as maybe some of the other tracks were right before, which is hard because I really liked Dance or Dead because yeah, it just is. It's hard to follow that up, but I actually think he did a great job stylistically in the track list with what he did of keeping that first drop that more iso-knock sound still, of keeping things a little bit more trap heavy, and then in the back end kind of kicking it back into the more not standardized, but more typical bass house specific sounds. And so I think if the track list really has that much intentionality all throughout, I think we're going to be doing that a lot, where we're going to kind of just get into pockets of this other kind of sound, which is brilliant, brilliant song structuring and track list structuring, if that's what Knock2 is going to do for the rest of this record. So, but I guess we'll find out. So let's move into Select At, but I'm gonna get, if I were to have a guess, I think this is Selecta, and I think it's a kind of play on Skrillex's Selecta from his record. So I would think that this is gonna be like that kind of Selecta. So let's see. So here we go. I'm still gonna call it Selecta.
I'm the one that calls Selecta.
Selecta, yep.
Pull the trigger.
Oh, where are we going with this? What? Excuse me? Holy. That was so nasty. If he goes crazier, I'm gonna lose my mind. I love how it starts like this, so low, and then it starts so unassuming, and then just builds and builds and builds, and then just smacks you in the face. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Oh my goodness. Holy crap, Selecta, hands down my favorite song of the album so far, singles included. Holy crap, that was nasty. That was so nasty. I was honestly in the early stages, in the very, very beginning, when it was so just like minimalistic and pulled back, I was like, okay, we've heard this. And I did not think we were going to reach those highs that we did. I love when Knock2 kind of does these more sporadic melodies where about pretty much every bar, you got something changed drastically. And that was that song to a T, where it switched it up time and time and time again, always keeping you on your toes, always keeping you wondering, always subverting those expectations. And my goodness, that just had so much energy. This is a song that, if it's not going to be a fan favorite, will definitely be one that at his shows and stuff will just absolutely like blow people away that don't, maybe, because there'll be people that obviously go to shows and festivals and stuff of his that don't know specifically all his songs, just because that's the nature of just going to listen to that stuff. And that one will be like oh my goodness, and people will be like, I need to, what was that song? I need to go back and listen to that again after. But my goodness, I loved Selecta. That was nasty good. But speaking of nasty good, let's head into the first. I believe this was the first single of. Second single. No, third single. Regardless, "Come Alive," a single that we've already had up to this point released with RL Grime and Abby Flynn, and so we still will go through the song. This is a song I have heard before, so this is not a first genuine like reaction to it. This is just us listening through the song. But for the sake of a tracklist order, let's head into it. So here we go. This is "Come Alive." I am always very curious to hear how these singles slot into the track list holistically, because I am someone that really does pay attention to where songs are and why. Like, why is this number 8? Why is this after Selecta? And so this one doesn't feel like the biggest, big single of the album, where, this feels more endemic and more palatable for a wider audience, this track, compared to some other ones. This reminds me the most of Room 202. This one just feels a lot kind of brighter and happier, and a little bit more on the lighter side of things, even though it's not like a typically light song. If you didn't know, this was the RL Grime part. Oh man, these are, yeah. I really, this is another track where I definitely have a greater appreciation for it within the track list, where it does feel like a culmination of this is where we are on the journey kind of thing. And I just love how much RL Grime really does complement the sounds of both Knock2 and ISOXO. I don't want to be talking about ISO Knock in general too much here, but yeah, just does a really great job of complementing that sound, because RL Grime just has this bit more of a meatiness to their production, to his production. It's a little bit more, has a lot more going on, maybe, has a lot more elements to it, and is a lot more of a sound that just feels fuller. And that doesn't mean it in a bad way by any means, but I think what Knock2 loves to do, and part of the reason why I love him, honestly, is that he has lots of room. There's the big beat beats. There's your kind of bass line, your 808s, your hi-hats, your main melody, but that's kind of like in these like kind of four or five big sounds, where RL Grime kind of keeps a whole layer of like something at least going on in the background, some sustain throughout that keeps it kind of always something going on in the back, where Knock2 gives you some time to really think about what's kind of coming next, almost, if that makes sense, which honestly gives me both an appreciation for both styles. When you listen to a song like that goes, I love the beginning part, I love that it gives me a little bit more of like a commanding kind of just intentional sort of like not emptiness, but intentional moments where I can fill in the gaps and or just leave things up to just be nothing, versus the more kind of very full sound of the back half, and where I like both, and I think both have their moments, and so I really like that. So let's head into the next track. Ready 2 is up next in the track list, so let's head in onto that. We're pretty much at the halfway point now with this track, so without any further ado, here we go. This is Ready 2.
Are you ready to feel the music, baby? Are you ready to feel the music, baby? Are you ready to feel the music, baby? Are you ready to feel the music? Kill the shit, kill the shit. Are you ready, baby?
Whoa.
Are you ready to feel the music? I kill the shit. Kill the shit, I run this.
Man, it's so good.
Are you ready to feel the music, baby? Are you ready to feel
Tackling this trap sound because that's where the last song ended on, and so if he goes back to a bass house, man, it's so intentional. You can even keep going with the trap and then bring it in later.
Are you ready, ready? I kill the shit, I run this.
What a wild melody.
I kill the shit, I run this. Kill the shit.
It's just banger after banger at this point. This one does sort of leave off where we did with Come Alive in a little bit more of a trap sound, a little bit more of a forward-leaning, forward-facing trap sound than some of the other ones. Obviously, I think it's still very bass house in nature, but just has that the big screech melody, the hi-hats, the kind of the groove of the whole track is not so much of a basic 4 on the floor. It's kind of like get you swinging a little bit, get you swinging and moving. And so, man, it's so intentional. I think the seriousness of just like seriously of taking the end of like Come Alive, that is that kind of more RL Grime and then style, and then coming back with the next track and keeping it still in that vague realm of a like sound, but then showing that this is still Knock2 style. This is still the domineering sound of this record, and I can do it just as well in another form or fashion. So I'm really enjoying this thing. So let's keep this moving. We have got Lights Down Low. Here we go. Okay, a bit of a horn start. We're getting like a real hip-hop inspired one. Look at these features. Very curious where we're going here. don't know if I've ever heard a song that really sounds like this. This is a really unique song. Oh. Okay, there's a longer build than normal on this album. What's it leading into? Damn! Wow, this is wild. Okay, that is one of my favorite songs, I think for sure, Lights Down Low. I more than anything love when a song does and I'll say that like a pretty straightforward, more like basic song structure of just addition, of simple addition. You got your one, you got your two, and together they make three. It's a simple thing. You start with that this baseline melody beat that just becomes it. That first part was so hard to describe. It was like bass house elements, but in a like trap beat. It's like they just replaced all the like hi-hat kind of big elements with just this deep, more dense, just like rigid sound. Then brought in this really, really bright, nice melody that was just quite magical, honestly. And then simply add the two together, put them on top, and oh man, magic on that final movement. Just absolute magic. And I loved the longer lead into that one comparatively to the other tracks on this album. That was actually one of the longer songs at 3:44. Like it's probably like top 3. That's the third longest song at 3 minutes and 44 seconds. So a lot of the stuff is pretty short here. But that one was one that really benefited from this slightly longer runtime, I think, for sure. And just keeping the listener on a bit more of a journey than previously could have if it was just that first part just repeated. So man, this is a great record. My goodness. Let's keep things moving. Shyne for Me. Shyne for Me is the next track, the 11th track. Here we go. Got 3 features on this one. This might be a more vocally heavy one, it would be my guess then.
I see the hole. I know you know you play.
This is the longest song in this one, so curious to see what he's going to do with the time. Not what I expected. Is this going to be Knock2's Fellow Feeling from Porter Robinson's World? Oh my. Yeah, not where I thought the song was gonna go. When I saw the longest song, I didn't think it was gonna be this like kind of just heavy hard style. A more reserved even one too. That's a little bit more not even as out there. Also the most vocally driven track. This is a great moment. I love the little shyne synths. Oh no. Oh. That was a bit of a weird one for me personally. I'll say I've never been one personally to resonate with the kind of more standardized hardstyle sound, and so I think that song was not necessarily like a miss for me, but definitely not quite what I expected. I also think it's just a weird choice to have your most vocally driven track up to this point and your longest track a hard style, like just kind of a more, I don't want to call it generic, but just like a more simplistic hard style one. Like that one feels like an easier one to produce than something like Lights Down Low right before, or Selecta. That one just feels, I don't know, that one for me, and I get it in the runtime. I do feel it's kind of its variety, its presence of variety in the whole track list, and so that's why I don't like want to give it like down points or something like that. I do recognize where its place is, and I think that's one that's gonna probably, I think, actually resonate with a lot of people. But that one just doesn't land maybe as much for me. So that was the first time I was like, okay, like, maybe we've slowed down a little bit. But we'll see. Let's move into the next track. This is Fast and Slow. So I'm sure we're going to get fast. I'm sure we're going to get slow, but here we go.
I need you to come on with fast and slow. Fast and slow. I need you to come on with fast and slow. Fast and slow.
The mixing feels really different on this song compared to the other ones so far. Maybe just because it came from the hard style, but okay.
That way, 'cause I've been overthinking about you. So ready, I'm ready to risk it on you. I got you in that pocket. I feel the rhythm rocking. I can make you love me again.
This is probably the most vocally driven track now, actually.
We both know the way that it is. Don't fight it. Fast and slow. I need you to come on, fast and slow. Slow, slow. Come on and bounce it down. I need you to come on. I can make you love me again. Get you high and drop you again. We both know the way that it is. Don't fight it. I know you like it. Can't control myself when you dance. And bounce it down.
Okay. Ooh, I love the vinyl scratches in the back.
I need you to come on fast and slow.
Okay, I will say I do feel like we're slowing down a little bit. I do feel like the high energy, just big anthemic moments of the first half of the track list is starting to whittle down a little bit more. Just starting to we're getting into a little bit more of a I don't want to call it standard territory, but just stuff that feels a little bit more calm for Knock2, all things considered. And so we do have got the singles coming up soon, which I know what they'll sound like, so I think I have a good picture on kind of where we're going and what's up next. But yeah, that one didn't really feel like it had a whole ton of things that I felt super unique about that one comparatively to the other songs, or any real moments that felt like they were a standout. So that one was probably the first one that felt like kind of maybe a filler song. And I guess for a 17-song album, I would have been shocked if there wasn't something that at least sounded a little bit more reserved for me. But yeah, we'll see how this next one goes. So this is My Melody. Here we go.
I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance. See it, see it, see it, see it, see it. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance. See it, see it, see it, see it. Can we hit that?
Oh, Speed Garage was not what I expected. I like it though.
Sing to me. Never sound so sweet.
I love that bass.
Sing to me.
Almost like a palate cleanser kind of song. There's lots of these really bright sounds all throughout this album, despite it being a pretty sonically dark and denser project, as naturally comes with Bass House. So, my point taken. Oh, it had me fooled. Okay, My Melody. Yeah, that one does feel like a bit of a palate cleanser of sorts. That feels like we are now moving into a final movement, final section of, I guess, 4 songs. That is a pretty popular, I find, just stylistic. You put kind of your most out there track, I think, more often than not, in the kind of back, what do you even call it? Like 4/5, even like back 2/3 of your album, and kind of just place it in this, like, it's not quite at the top, and you've kind of gone through your middle section, and now it's like a checkpoint almost throughout a record. And I actually really like this one. I'm a big fan of like garage in general, and so this kind of more speed garage style is one that resonated a lot with me, and I really, really do like how, and that one really emphasizes it a ton, how just Knock2 is playing around with these really, really bright and light just synth runs and synth patterns and palettes that are keeping what would be a predominantly very just typically dark sound with Bass House that I guess Bass House just typically has that. And so, yeah, I think this is just a great song that just felt like a good palate cleanser, and one that I think will resonate with me. I think has more, maybe even longevity for me than a lot of this other stuff maybe will down the line. So, but yeah. With that being said, we will move into some of the singles back to back here. As a reminder, I have listened to these before. These are songs that I have listened through, but we will just listen through them now again. So here we go. This is Feel You Love Me, the first single to be released. This almost could have been the album opener, I think. Still a banger. I love this like staircase for that. Okay, it was up that time. Classic third act of a Knock2 song. This is like just classic Knock2. This track just feels so quintessentially him. So. Yes, Feel You Love Me. I won't stick on this one for too long because this was the single that was released earliest, so this is the song that's been around the most. But yeah, this one really does feel like just quintessential Knock2. Like this is just like if you wanted to show someone, you're like, hey, what does Knock2 sound like? What is it like a typical song? This is one of those, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I think this is a really fun track. I think it does a great job of really highlighting some of the vocal sampling and sort of repetitiveness in, again, a good way, of some of the Knock2 tracks to really get you grooving and really in the moment and in the space and in the headspace to get up and dance and put your hands up and just absolutely party hard. So yes, absolutely love Feel You Love Me. And speaking of singles, let's head into the next one, the middle track. This was Hold My Hand. Here we go.
Don't wanna go, but I have to do what's right. And I know that it kills to say goodbye. So
This song is one I don't think I listened to a ton since its release, so I do love that, like, whatever processing you want on that vocals, whatever you want to call it. Yes, Hold My Hand. Still really enjoy this one. But this is a sneaky one, I think, honestly. This is a sneaky good one that doesn't... Yeah. I'll talk a little bit more at the end, but... yeah. I think you can really feel the difference in the songs here that are a little bit more longer. Like, this is a 4.5-minute song. This is, I think, the second longest. And you can hear the, like... just the extended movements of this compared to most of the track list that kind of just get stuff up and going and out of there really quickly in like 2.5 minutes. So, and I don't think I prefer one or the other, honestly. I think both have their moments. And I think on the brighter tracks like this one, I think the longer one really works. Oh yeah, I forgot about the guitar outro. Not the only time on the whole album you hear like really explicitly guitar. Acoustic one for sure. Okay, that's Hold My Hand. Yeah, that one I still really like. I think it's a great tune. I think it's a more unassuming one on the full track list just because it is a little bit longer, has a bit of a more copy-pasted style drop comparatively to some of the other ones, and just is a lot brighter and a more kind of just anthemic sounding song. This is the one that pretty much after just like hours or just an hour of just going hard and just like feeling like you're getting almost punched in the face constantly in a good way, this is the one that kind of comes in and goes, hey, like this is fun, like this is great, let's keep going kind of thing. And so I do love that this is the third last track on the album just because of it, that sentiment in itself. But that song's been out for a while, so we don't need to talk about that one a ton. But let's head into the next one. This is the penultimate track. This is Day Ones, which I'm sure are for the day ones, which I will not call myself. I wasn't an OG Knock2 fan, I don't think so. But here we go. This is Day Ones.
Hold on to 'em tight. Will we live tonight? So hard to say goodbye. Will we live tonight?
Oh, this is fun. Kind of a weird genre fusion, this track.
So hard to say goodbye. Will we live tonight? Thank you to the ones that stuck it through it all.
I do love this sound. Sound design is real, like, intentional final moment here. Dang, okay, Day Ones. Even though this isn't the last song on the album, this one feels a lot like what Skrillex did on Quest for Fire with Still Here with Ones That I Came With. That just is a more... a song that really is written for a specific audience. In this case, it's the Day Ones. It's the people that have been with Knock2 since the beginning. And a song that just honors that, I don't want to say relationship because that feels very, very parasocial, but just that the support throughout the years and just the recognition that people have been around. People have gone to tons of his shows and have been supporting him time and time and time and time again. And just the reciprocal just thank you and support and just honoring of the time of honestly, yeah, the big time commitment to listen to and hang out with at events and stuff. And so yeah, that's a good one. I like the one a lot. I like the tone of it. I like that it's a little bit more reserved to be a little bit more focused on what it's trying to say rather than just be a big beat. And one that also just feels a little bit more of like a more brighter, more kind of happier version to kind of close us out. But speaking of close us out, we do have the title track and final track, No Limit, the 17th song on the 17-track album. Very curious to see how we're going to land this plane here. So here we go. This is No Limit.
No limit, no limit. There's no limit to what we can do. 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 No limit.
Where we're going with this final movement here.
No limit.
Oh, okay. No Limit, the final track. I will say that is what I expected it to be, and a bit of a more kind of quick hit of where we started. Kind of letting the album have a bit of a bookender to it. Yeah, and so that one it felt a little bit more on just like a more of, again, another one that felt like more of a standard, slightly standard style of just big heavy bass house from Knock2, and so it did a good job of kind of closing up the whole book and putting a good final chapter mark on that thing. So yeah. Let's talk final thoughts on this record. Knock2, No Limit, holistically. I think this album is pretty fantastic. I think this is a great modern bass house / just modern dance music in general record. I think there are many times where I felt like this is the modern big beat sound that we got from something like Fatboy Slim of the late 90s or just 90s and early 2000s. That feels like a moment in time and an era and a potentially even just culturally defining record. I think this is going to be looked upon very highly by a lot of people, and I think this album is going to be very dominant in the 2025 landscape of conversation and of just general sense of feeling on where we are, just kind of as a music industry. So. EDM, I should say specifically. Holistically, individually, I think the first half of the record is a lot stronger than the back, I will say. I think the first half does a great job of balancing that really, really just like intense bass house sound with a more kind of hybrid trap lean here and there into just some creativity and in sound design and just making things a little bit more experimental, a little bit more high volume, a little bit more high intensity, or the back half does feel like it's maybe lagging behind just a little bit. If I were to be critical of the album, I think if anything, it's maybe just a touch long. I think the 55-minute runtime is nice, but I think this easily could have been like a 45-minute album and maybe trimmed some songs and or just cut to make it a better, more holistic listening experience front to back. That being said, I don't think any of the songs are bad by any means, and I always feel bad when I feel like a song just shouldn't make it because obviously that is not part of the artist's vision, but I think if I am being critical, it just does feel long. I think when you're getting to the end and stuff isn't as ramped up and as intense as it was in the first couple tracks, it does feel like it's a little bit of okay, we're still here and I've got energy, but I can tell we're slowing down. And so that felt very prevalent to me, I should say. Again, not that it's a bad thing at all. I just love the first half of this album a ton. Selecta, real highlight for me. Lights Down Low was a real highlight. Even Crank the Bass was a real highlight. I thought there was a lot of really great midsections. Ready to even stuff that was kind of in the middle that felt just like some of the strongest meat and bones of the record. And so I think this is fantastic production. I think the mixing is incredible. I think this is some of the best just holistic mix and mastering we've heard in this modern kind of post 2020 EDM era. And this will be and is, I think, the party anthem for, I don't want to say years to come, but at least for 2025, this record. So I'm very curious to see what songs will kind of come and rise to the top in terms of fan popularity and what songs that maybe Knock2 wants to re-release as like a single later on. But man, if I just say anything, I think Selecta is mine personally. But yeah, fantastic record. I really enjoyed this, and I'm so curious to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I really want to hear what you think of this new Knock2 record. But other than that, I've been Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.